This is a story of deceit, manipulation, lots of money, political lobbying, lawsuits, and ultimately covert theft.
Let's get straight to the point. The markets are manipulated against you. Every single day, the market is manipulated in some type of way.
We live in a time where we have a man sending us to war for fictitious reasons.
And I saw footage like this.
Two, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX.
Unelected deep state operatives who defy the voters to push their own secret agendas.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
On behalf of the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, and Guardians who serve this command and our nation, I welcome the opportunity to talk to you today.
You ever served in an infantry unit, son?
No, sir.
Ever served in a forward area?
No, sir.
Ever put your life in another man's hands? Asked him to put his life in yours?
No, sir.
We follow orders, son. We follow orders or people die.
America has launched.
For the first time in history, NASA astronauts have launched from America in a commercial spacecraft to the International Space Station.
The history of the internet has been one of big capital pilfering from public investment and national infrastructure, the expropriation of academic research.
It's meant for the average retail investor like you and me to lose money.
Democratic, open source alternatives being forced illegally from the market.
And anytime you've got the Pope and the Dixie Chicks against you, your time is up. Thank you very much.
Do you want me to call 911?
Iran exploited what they saw as a once-in-a-generation opportunity to reshape the Middle East to their advantage.
Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You? You, Lieutenant Weinberg?
I do think there has to be serious questions raised about some of the foreign policy blunders that this country has had over the last 20 to 25 years.
Devices to steal our privacy for profit being quickly snuck into our homes, our cars, our watches, glasses, and phones.
If you are losing money, it's by design, not by luck. While your balance is going down, billionaires and hedge funds are making millions.
In an attempt to hunt down those responsible for 9/11, the United States government invaded Afghanistan and fought a war there for 20 years.
The rocket that will take Crew Dragon to space is the most powerful rocket on the planet, releasing a whopping 7.6 million pounds of thrust at launch.
Iran's expansive network of proxies is equipped with advanced, sophisticated weaponry and threatens some of the most vital terrain in the world with global and U.S. implications.
There's some truth in the idea that there is an ongoing group of people who continue the work of government as administrations come and go.
Even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
There are tons of styles of manipulation, and the scary part is, some of the ways are completely legal.
They've weaponized chemical weapons, we know that. They've had an active program to develop nuclear weapons. It's also clear that they are actively developing biological weapons.
As the Cold War developed, the US spent more and more on its growing military-industrial complex.
Houthi attacks on our warships and international shipping, coupled with Iranian-aligned militias attacks on our forces in Iraq and Syria, are a direct result of an Iranian threat that has been incrementally spreading.
Working not just with industry, but with academics and universities too.
This is something that the whole world can take some pleasure in and can really look at this as an achievement of humanity.
Splashdown.
As chaos breaks out, hedge funds and private equity firms look at this as an opportunity, buying up all these dying news outlets and using them to send out catalysts for their own investments.
Hidden away from Silicon Valley, in Chinese factories, in the mining of the materials needed in developing countries, in right-wing politics hostile to unions, in the weakening of welfare and social security. A new underclass was emerging.
We are clear-eyed about the task before us. The shockwaves of the past year continue to reverberate globally. Our service members are standing the watch, side by side with our regional partners right now. They operate in harm's way every day.
The deprived only participate in the information age by providing cheap, non-unionized labor for the unhealthy factories of the Silicon Valley chip manufacturers.
Hedge funds or private equity firms now control half of US daily newspapers.
I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom.
Modern intelligence, a euphemism for spying and lying and cheating and deceiving and sneaking and breaking, coercing, dividing and conquering.
He has a world-class climate and carbon cycle research group in his own laboratory in Exxon Research and Engineering.
79% of Americans thought the war had been justified, with or without clear evidence of weapons of mass destruction.
He's using something which is a lie to justify a policy which is bad for the world. And I would have to say that on an ethical basis, it's actually evil.
You snotty little bastard.
1 month after the assassination of President Kennedy, Harry Truman publishes an article in the Washington Post and says the CIA should be abolished.
We have forces in Iraq and Syria for the enduring defeat of ISIS.
Over the years, I have witnessed this hostile communist country work to systematically take over our food supply chain.
We have ISIS at large, those that we are going after every day, every night. About 1,500 inside of Syria and about 1,000 inside of Iraq.
Just over 2 million years ago, the average annual temperature across the lower 48 states was around 56 degrees Fahrenheit, about 3 degrees warmer than it is today.
It's a tax policy. You don't expect everyone to love it, but the opposition to this particular proposal was very strong, very strident.
He would get investors to invest in really crappy companies that were really overinflated, and he would sell into them, making millions of dollars.
20 states and the Department of Justice filed antitrust lawsuits against Microsoft. Microsoft was found guilty of monopolistic practices.
I'm being charged with a crime